Good morning to all. This is Vinita, and the subject on which I am going to take the lecture is law of tort. Our previous topic was of trespass to the person. In the continuation of that topic, I am going to discuss with you today the false imprisonment. False imprisonment consists in the imposition of a total restraint for some period. However, short upon the liberty of another without sufficient lawful justification. So, here, what does it mean by false imprisonment? False imprisonment consists of the imposition of a total restraint. Before to know about the false imprisonment, we must know about the total restraint or a period of which a person's liberty have been restrained without sufficient lawful justification. So what are the ground and when the false imprisonment constituted? The first one is to constitute this wrong. Imprisonment in the ordinary sense is not required. It means it is clear that false imprisonment not required for the ordinary imprisonment. It is not required by the false imprisonment. Secondly, when a person is deprived of his personal liberty, whether by being confined within the four walls or being prevented from leaving the place where he is, it is false imprisonment. It means the condition number one is false imprisonment does not require of a total or a ordinary imprisonment. Secondly is if a person is restrained for a short period of time of his personal liberty, it constitutes the false imprisonment. For an example, if a man is restrained by a threat of force from leaving his own house or an open field, this is an example of false imprisonment. Its simple meaning is, if suppose a person by giving him a threat restrained in his own house not to leave that house without the permission of the person who have given the threat is a false imprisonment. In a same example, if a person who is in an open field restrained by a threat not to leave that field without the permission who have given the threat is also an example of false imprisonment. So, we can say there are some essential elements to constitute the wrong of false imprisonment. What the essential elements are? Number one, there should be a total restraint on the liberty of a person. It means someone's liberty should be restrained in a totality manner. Second, it should be without any lawful justification. So, it should be without any lawful justification. So, first one says about the total restraint. So, we must know what does it mean by total restraint. Total restraint. Under criminal law, whether the restraint is total or partial, it is actionable. Are you getting my point? In criminal law, no matter that the restraint is total or partial, it is an actionable for the purpose of redress the person who have been restrained by some other person. When a restraint is total and a person is prevented from going out of certain circumscribed limits, the offense is that of wrongful confinement under section 340 of IPC. So, it says that if a person is restrained not to go out within a certain defined limits, this we call wrongful confinement under criminal law under section 340 of IPC. It is a criminal offense and the person who confined another person has to be punished. On this another part, when the restraint is not total but it is a partial and a person is prevented merely from going to a particular direction where he has a right to go, it is a wrongful restraint under section 339 of IPC. So, in case of wrongful confinement, a person is restrained within the defined limits, not to go outside of the defined limits, that we call wrongful confinement. And when a person is confined for some specific limits, not to go by one side, but he is free to go off another side, this we call wrongful restraint, and it is again an offense under section 339 of Indian Penal Code. So it is clear that in criminal law, wrongful restraint, whether it is a total or it is a partial, is a criminal offense and has to be punished. But in civil law, in law of tort, the situation is different. In law of tort, false imprisonment is constituted when there is a total restraint only. It means if a person wants to take remedy in law of tort for the purpose of false imprisonment, he should prove or he must prove that there was a total false imprisonment. The remedy can only be given in case of total restraint, not in the partial restraint. Getting my point? So, the important case laws on this topic are Bird versus Jones, Herring versus Boyle, Merring versus Graham White Aviation Company. So, the Bird versus Jones is a famous leading case on the false imprisonment. In this case, court decided that there was no false imprisonment because the defendant only restrained the plaintiff not to go on a particular side, but the plaintiff was free to go on another side. And as I said that in law of tort, to claim the remedy, there must be a total restraint. And in this case, there was a partial restraint and hence court decided that there was no false imprisonment. Another case, the Herring versus Boyle, was on the matter that whether it is mandate of a plaintiff to know that he was restrained by another person. So in this case, court held this, yes, the person who has been restrained must know the fact that he has been restrained. But In the next case, Mering versus Graham White, Action Aviation Company, court reversed the judgment of the previous case and said, no, it is not essential element of to commit this wrong, because there are many conditions in which a person cannot know whether he has been restrained or not. For an example, if a person is sleeping in his house and someone locked the house, it is a false imprisonment. Hence, the person is really not knowing the fact that someone locked the house outside the door. So, this is an example of false imprisonment. Remedies, yes. In civil law, there are 3 remedies for the false imprisonment. The first one is action for damages. Means the plaintiff who has been suffered of the false imprisonment can sue against the defendant to take the compensation. Self-help. He can by himself prevent the restraint. Third one, habeas corpus. Habeas corpus is a writ in which he can file a petition in the court that someone has restrained me against my will. Then court will pass an order to release that person and produce in front of the court within a specific time limit. So this was the topic of trespass of the person. Today we have finished of this topic. Thank you so much.